Hey ladies and gentlemen, it's Frostbyte. I want to take a little bit of time to go ahead and talk about the gold flowing hair privy. Now I know some of you have already heard about this, some of you haven't. I want to go ahead and just quickly give you the information, talk about the stuff that I have available to me, talk about some of the information that we've had earlier, and I want to, oops, sorry about that. I want to make sure that we kind of go over some of the elements that are here, talk about what we do know, what we don't know, what's conjecture, what's fact, and just share a little bit of information on these particular items. Again, this is going to be very quick. We're talking about 15-20 minutes just to go over some of the details to make sure that people are aware of what's happening with this particular coin. Now, as you know, the gold hair, the flowing privy, is going to be released November 14th. Now, we know this, it's been on the site, but 2 days ago, the site finally released the pictures, and you can see the pictures here. And it's good looking. I'm not going to lie, it's a beautiful coin. You look at the really high relief, you can see that beautiful lettered edge. That lettered edge is representative of the coin of old. Again, this is the flowing hair. We talked about the privy that came with the silver medal that happened just a few weeks back. And again, they're going to release this. Again, same basic setup. The only thing is the packaging is going to be the same. Hey, what's going on, Ant? How you doing? Again, packaging is going to be the same basic setup, same basic design. But there's a couple different things. So when you look at the mint description says nothing about there being a privy. Whoops, wrong one. There's nothing about there being a privy. So if we scroll down and we look at this, and you actually look at, you'll see the flowing hair design. They don't talk anything about the description here, mentioning that there's going to be a privy. However, there is something on here that is not listed necessarily on this particular site. And if you look at, hey, Ken of mine, Starika, thanks for coming in. If you look at the public release that was done, and I'm going to pull that up here, there's some language very specific. And this information is, well, disheartening. It's kind of a stab in the back for the common collector. And I'm going to read to you. Now, if you're looking at this in the vertical side, I apologize. You might not be able to see this, but I am going to read this verbatim. Now, the language changed from what I saw earlier. I'm going to see if anybody notices that little language change. It says, as a tribute to the number of years that have elapsed since the flowing hair dollar was introduced, the mint will also auction off 230 1-ounce high relief 24-karat coins with the 230 privy mark on December 12th, 2024. The coin will be auctioned with a die custom-made display box. Now, there's going to be the very first one is going to have the die that was created, or a die that was created from this. It's going to be in a beautiful display box. Don't know how it's going to be presented. Don't know if it's going to be totally counseled or how they're going to do that particular piece, but it's supposed to be really nice. It's going to have a certificate of authenticity. Each one of these is going to have a certificate signed. Now, again, when you look at this particular piece here, and we look at this, we've seen this before, that certificate's going to be signed. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the exact same way that the privy that I received was. Well, I didn't actually receive the signature on it, but it's going to be the same basic structure, the same setup. Now, here's the issue. They're talking about auctioning these. And again, when they're talking about auctioning 230, what I don't know, we were talking about this morning at IDAS, is are there only going to be 230? Or are they just auctioning the ones with the certificate special to people outside of the people who are going to be able to get this from the US Mint? Now, what I don't know, what I'm not privy to, like the pun there, what I'm not privy to is the information that's here, is the information that's going to be utilized in this particular element, is that going to be only 230? Or are they going to do another surprise feature and maybe throw in a couple to the general public? Looking at the language, they don't say there's only going to be 230 of these. It says the mint will also auction 230 1-ounce high relief coins with a 230 privy mark. But it doesn't say there will only be 230 of them. Now, this is something that I don't know if I read this differently this morning or if it actually is only 230. I haven't seen that. I'm going to look very carefully, see if I continue to find information where they may release it. But as it stands right now, it's kind of the slap in the face. My wife and I were talking, along with a good collector friend of mine, that says, you know, hey, it would be a lot of fun to collect all of them. And so what he meant by that particular statement was, I have one with and without the Privy. It'd be cool to have the gold one. Well, now they're dropping the gold Privy. Okay, the likelihood that I would get one is slim and none. But now they're saying that they're going to auction these particular items. Well, that begs the question, what are they going to be released for? Well, if we look at this particular item and we come down here, there's no release amount. There's nothing there. It's upcoming. They don't have any release date, or they don't have any number on the release. Well, why is that? Well, it really depends on this. Now, this is spot price, and this is a U.S. Mint listing. Yeah, it sounds more like that, Hugh Smith. This is a listing of how much the Mint charges if gold is in a particular area. Now, I have all these links. I haven't put them out yet, but I'll be putting them in the description so that you can see each one of these. You can go back to your own research, check these out at your own convenience. But if you're looking at where spot is right now, and if you look, I'm going to switch here. Now, I have this. If you're looking landscape, you'll see it on both sides. But if you're looking portrait, you'll see the kITCO listing here. And we're sitting about $26.83 for gold price. So at $26.83, if you were to look at this list, we're sitting at a gold listing price for the U.S. Mint release about $3,590. But here's the thing. If I slide this all the way over and I look at what the Liberty and Britannia piece went for, it's a little bit more money. Not a lot, but a little bit more. So here's my prediction. I think this is going to be released around $3,700. If we don't see any major movements in gold in the next 8 to 10 days when they do the release, or excuse me, in the next 4 to 5 days when they do the release, I fully expect that the day after Veterans Day, when they release these privies, they're going to run about $3,700. Initially, I thought it was going to be $3,800, but after looking at this and understanding this chart a little bit more, understanding kind of where they sit, that general price point, understanding where that price point could be there, looking at this, it looks like they're going to be sitting out, hey, freaking awesome, just gifted 5 memberships. Thanks so much, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Sacktown Amy, Chad Brockman, Silver Buff, Dale M., and Bull Palmer all got memberships courtesy of freaking awesome. Thanks, brother. I greatly appreciate you. But if you're looking at this, what you're basically seeing, the premise as I see it, looks as though we're going to be seeing a price point released on November 12th around, November 14th, December 12th. I get those backwards. November 14th of about $3,700. Now, when they go to auction, now here's the kicker. So if you look at the auction prices for some of the things that have happened, if you're looking at the prices on those, you're going to see the prices for the Privy marks for the metal selling anywhere between about $3,800 and $7,000, depending upon how recent you look at it. The more time goes on, the less the information sells for. So as you look at these particular elements on eBay and some of these other auction houses, you're going to see that Privy mark sell price come down a little bit. Totally expected. We absolutely expected that. But if there's only 230 of these Privy marks that are going to be done in the gold, I've got a question for you. What do you think the price listing is going to be on those? Well, if you go to the United States Mint, and I'm going to pull this up with you, we're going to do the search together. So if we do the U.S. Mint, and we look at the MS70 reverse proof ASE, and we're going to do this I think it's 2017 is the year that was utilized. Oh, I need to do gold. You're going to see that the prices of these are pretty substantial. Now, the reason that the prices are substantial for these is because these particular coins had a very, very, very small mintage. Now, the mintage of these particular ones were about 1,000. Now, they were out of stock, and if you look at some of these, the prices, if you look at Silver Wolverine talked about this morning when he generated the price point on this, you're looking at some of these prices anywhere from 9 to 17, 18, 19,000. But there's a specialty run on these, I think they're the burnished ones, that were going for like $20,000, $21,000. Now, that's a huge price point. But what that effectively does is it puts it out of the reach for any of us common men or women, right? It takes it so far out of the reach of one of us to be able to get this that it's absolutely unreal, and in my personal opinion, unfair. I know Hugh said this a minute ago. It's another money grab by the mint. But again, when we're looking at this, we're talking about a crazy Starika, full in his money or soon parted. Well, let me tell you what was going on in my mind here about 7 days ago. When I got the Privy and got that back, and we did the public opening for the CAC grading, and I did the opening of the sheet live and opened the box and pulled it out, and I saw that it was an MS-70. I was extremely happy because I knew that I had 2 other opportunities to send in one of the other ones and have one of them hopefully come back at MS-70. That meant that I would have had both the metals with the non-Privy at MS-70 if I chose to do so. I seriously thought about buying the gold coin. My wife and I had talked about it. I had reached out to a couple people, said, is that something that I want to do? I would love to collect the whole set. They weren't going to release the privies. Now, we already knew there was talk. Somebody had opened their mouth and they had dropped the bomb about the fact that they were going to be signed certificates. Now, that didn't necessarily mean that the signed certificates were going to relate to a privy mark in the gold coin. We did know that there was going to be an opportunity for that. So I was under the assumption or under the pretense that the way they were going to work this is that they were going to do 230 of the signed certificates for just a regular gold piece. That made sense. And in that case, it would have been really cool to have tried for this particular piece to have the set. The unfortunate piece about this is because they have the set, now you have the Privy, the gold Privy, and if there's only going to be 230 of them, that puts that out of reach for the common man and the common woman. The common collector's not going to have an opportunity to do this. And I have a problem with this. And I don't have a problem with this because the mint's making money off of this. I have a problem with this because we have, just in a few days, the Baltimore Expo coming out. Now, the Baltimore Expo opens November 14th. Oh, wait. When is the gold Privy being released? November 14th. Okay, I have a question. If the gold Privy is going to be released on this date, now it's going to be auctioned later on. So they're talking about December 12th for the gold Privies, but there's only 230,000 of them. If there's an opportunity for more gold Privies, are they going to be released at the Winter Expo? There's 25,000 metals that are still technically unaccounted for. Where are they? How many of those metals include a Privy? We don't have the answers to these. So there's a lot of variables that are still open. My opinion, if they're going to be selling these 230 gold ones, what do you want to bet? That there's 230 metals with Privies that are going to stay on standby for those people who win that auction to purchase one of these Privies as kind of a bonus, so that they have both Privy sets. It's going to be high-end collectors, high-end dollars. What do you want to wager that there are 230 Privy metals, silver, that are sitting on the wayside waiting for those 230 gold Privies to be released? Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not one to do this, but I do like to look at some of the facts that lay before us and sometimes make conjectures and look at what is the opportunity for the mint to give Privies to the people who have the money, the big players, the high-end dollar, the high-end spender, to make sure that they get both the Privy and this with the purchase of the gold Privy coin. As a marketing person who's done this in the past, it just makes sense. It's a great sales tactic for the wealthy, and they don't necessarily want to go spend $10,000 or $9,000 for one of these metal privies, but the option's going to be there that if you want one, the Mint will probably give you a great price of something like $3,500 should you want to have one graded along with your gold coin. I bet you that you can get the gold coin graded. They're probably already going to be graded and signed, and they're going to come in this beautiful little package, and it'll be amazing to see. But I'll lay wager that that's what's going to happen with the other privies. I do not believe for a doubt that they released all the privies in the general public when they released these. I do believe that some of the numbers, the 250,000 that are still, or the 25,000 that are still available that are not listed, some of those were probably returned either as damaged coins or coins that people just didn't want, or metals, excuse me, I can't talk today, metals that people just didn't want. They wanted to take a chance on the Privy. They signed one of these little sheets and said, I didn't want it. They sent it back. There's probably an accounting for that, trying to determine how many they have, how many are damaged, how many can they resell. There's probably a little bit of play in that. So I'm going to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt with some of those numbers having been items that have been returned to them. So I could account for, maybe 10,000 of those coins or those metals, having coming back and that number not quite being exact accurate. So in that case, I kind of get it. I kind of understand. But here again, we look at another place where the common person, the common collector, is screwed by the U.S. Mint out of the opportunity to get something which is so high priced that here we go. We're just not going to have an option for this. Now, when we looked at the release of the silver medal, I was frustrated that they put these out there so far ahead of time. We knew they were released. We knew that they were out there. We saw the eBay listings. Paul and I were looking at these, doing the reviews, and all of a sudden all the listings were disappearing. There was something very shady about that. Hey, Tiger, what's going on, bud? There was something very shady about the whole transaction. But again, when we look at... I just saw that not too long ago. Yeah, I love that. That was a great play on words. I loved how he did that. That was a lot of fun. But again, when we're looking at this, again, it's one of those things that I want people to understand. I'm not dropping conspiracy here, and I'm not saying that the Mint is out to hurt the common collector. What I'm saying is they had a really good opportunity with a lot of collectors who wanted this particular coin. There were a lot of people that I know that were saving money. I have a good friend of mine. His name is Mike, and he was saving money. He is not a collector, but he wanted one of these gold coins, and he was like, I really like them. They're really beautiful. I'm trying to buy at least one gold coin every year, and I think it's a gorgeous piece. And after finding everything that's going on and looking at it, he's just like, I can't do it. What the Mint is doing is turning people off from the hobby. I know that they have this talk that it's helping the hobby and that they're moving people in the positive direction, but I think it's having the opposite effect. We hear this on a lot of people. I'm sure that if I had everybody that thought that the Mint was screwing people put a 1 in chat, the number ones would fly through the screen. Matter of fact, why don't we do this? If you think the Mint is screwing the standard collector, put a 1 in chat. Because again, you're going to see that this isn't something that's just me saying this. There's a lot of people that feel like the Mint is just really blowing smoke up the collector's collective coal, and they're screwing John Q. Public. Now, if you don't know who John Q. Public is, John Q. Public is a representation, a no-name of the common man or woman. Okay, when I say man, I don't mean to be chauvinistic. I just mean person. And so that's John Q. Public. So when you look at the short that I released and you see the little, item there, and then, hey, John Q. Public, it's basically saying, hey, we're getting shafted again. Because they're taking the opportunity for the common man or the common woman to be able to purchase this particular element. It's going to be so far outside of our reach that it's just not going to be likely that anybody who was saving up to potentially get this will have the opportunity to get one of these privies. And I think this is an absolute blow on the Mint. Again, they have the opportunity to really engage the standard collector in getting something that's just fascinating, absolutely special, and they screw them. Tiger Stacker with the $4.99 super sticker. Thanks so much, brother. I greatly appreciate you. Now, Hugh, I can't say that they absolutely have, but I've got to tell you that looking at what the Mint has done, looking at some of the stuff that they've done, listening to the conversation that was had within relation to the video that I shared with Gray Sheet, and then the person who had the game regarding the Star Privy, and then the Flying Eagle Privy that's coming out, listening to some of the talk that they had with the Mint, some of the things that they were saying, it's all marketing. It's all strategy to focus on one of two things. It's either FOMO, the fear of missing out. Amy Harrow with the $5 super sticker. Thanks so much, Amy. I greatly appreciate you. I really appreciate the support. But again, looking at the opportunity for the standard collector to get something really, really cool. There are people, and again, I know people who've saved money, who put money aside, like me, talked to my wife and said, hey, we're gonna rebalance some of our funds. We're gonna shift some stuff around. I think we're gonna try for one of these gold pieces. I think it would be nice to have the entire set, only to find out that I no longer have the opportunity to do so. It was absolutely stripped from me because it's so far out of my potential price range that the only way I'd be able to do it is hawk my home or hawk my car in order to have enough money to purchase this. And I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fool. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend thousands of thousands, maybe tens or $20,000 on a gold coin with the Privy, because we know that's what's going to happen when these things go to auction. Maybe the Mint will surprise us. Maybe they'll drop a little nugget and they'll throw out another 1,500 of them out into the general public when they release this. I don't think they will. The reason I don't think they will is I think if they do this, the people who spent the money on the Privy market, that special auction, will be really, really upset, and they'll hurt their moneymaker. They forget who the key element of the Mint is, and that is the general person. That is the general public. John Q. Public is the one that pays the taxes, and John Q. Public is the one who wants to support and really come alongside with the Mint, give them ideas and help them to help us be better stackers and better collectors, enjoy things and make products that we're going to like so that we will engage with them and buy the products that they produce. Instead, they turn us over backwards and say, sorry, we're going to charge you more and we're going to take the opportunity and give that to the wealthy. And I'm really upset about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to keep this very short and sweet. I wanted to talk a little bit about this, give you my insights, tell you a little bit about what was happening, what's going on. I will say this, folks. It's a beautiful, beautiful coin. That lettered edge is fabulous. Go look at that again later on. I will be putting all these links in the description. I've got an errand to go run before my wife beats me up. Just kidding. She doesn't beat me very often. She doesn't beat me at all. I'm just kidding. But again, I wanted to bring you guys into this, talk to you a little bit about this, and I really wanted to share this with you, which was the pricing sheet and how the determination of these silver and gold items are actually priced out. So again, come back later on, bookmark this if you can. Please share this out. Throw a like if you haven't. You're watching this and you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Follow more. Make sure you're here tomorrow when I go live. We have Chuck Daughtry. Chuck Daughtry is going to be talking about some really cool things, especially about coin roll hunting. So for those of you that like to do that, please go through and check that out. Share that out. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're there when we go live. And then Sunday's chit chat, who knows what the hell we're going to talk about. Probably a continuation of this. We'll see if the Mint drops any additional information, or we'll see if there's any more information from the Baltimore Winter Festival that's happening here in just a few days. All right, folks. Love you guys. Don't forget, JJ, tomorrow morning after the live stream, we're going to be going to the Wounded Warriors benefit. That is going to be my lead in Saturday and Sunday. So both days, I'm not going to be sending people to Coin Crew on Sunday. I'm sending people to Wounded Warrior. So I want people to understand that this is going on. It's a huge benefit. There's a lot of cool things going on. So please go check out and support a very worthy cause. All right, folks. Love you guys and gals. Be well, be blessed. Thank you so much for the super chats and for the gifted memberships. I love you guys a bunch. I will see you guys tomorrow.